Hi everyone, I'm Alex Prate, one of the co-founders of Hypha, and I'm really pleased to be with you today to walk you through our DAO for energy communities. All right, so Hypha started in 2019 with the ambition to create a context where we can transition from the current economic system to our new possibilities. Systems, organizations, and people around the world are under enormous pressure to change. And I'm sure you've noticed that we are reaching our breaking point. We are seeing, issues emerging all over the world, and the infrastructure that we've created at Hypha aims to enable, this transition, to be the bridge, between our current economic systems and business models towards our future potential. We are focusing on massive socio-economic and ecological challenges, creating the need to reinvent those business models and reinvent a sense of community as well as a grassroots movement to really find solutions that can tackle these massive problems. And one of these problems is the energy crisis in Europe. With the situation in Ukraine, of course, that has, accelerated the pain. We are really looking at alternatives, movements that can be created and enabled with the technology that will solve these problems. So that's where the DAO is a great opportunity. So let me introduce the DAO to you. It stands for the Decentralized Autonomous Organization. And at Hypha, we've created a new form of human organization that really accelerates coordination with network effects and also mimicking nature and using the latest technology, blockchain technologies. So what we want to do is to create a context where every human, can benefit from these technologies. So we've made it really simple to use, but at the same time, really powerful, and as I was saying, our roots are in regeneration and, rooted in nature. So we have designed our solution really organically, with a sense of organic growth and natural balance, if you like, in the entire design. So to activate this new form of organization, and in that case, an energy community, we start by activating the core team, the core people locally that have access to the different stakeholders and want to actually foster this project, and create a sense of, belonging inside the community. So the core team is really the genesis. That's where the core members come together. They define the initial activities that are required to activate this project. And then we have a second step, which is the community activation. So the community is really included into the DAO, into this human organization, to create a change, to allow everyone to have a say in the different decisions that will need to be made at a local level. And as you can notice here, we have designed the DAO context as a cell, the organic cell, so that these cells can divide themselves, can expand, can form an ecosystem. And that's really the next step of the activation. Imagine an ecosystem of, thousands of energy communities around Europe first and then the world that are sharing knowledge, working together to create value flows and to give access to everyone to their energy needs. That's really what we can create. And of course, at a greater scale and not limiting ourselves to energy, but also food, water, different problems that we encounter in the world, we can really create a thriving network. So each node that you see here are DAOs, human organizations composed by human beings that are willing to organize this transition and really create new opportunities for the people in respect with the planet. So energy communities are solving the energy crisis. We really believe that this grassroots movement can make fantastic change, in the current paradigm around energy. So as you can see here, it's a combination of the energy ecosystem, all the stakeholders that are already involved into this market, but also the people, who are consuming energy, or SMEs that are having their activities dependent, of course, on energy. We have the energy markets, right? The global context that we need to, of course, account for and have the connection with, right? But our context is really local. It's really empowering the local community to make sure that they have access to this new value and also impact. It's really important to note that Hypha is creating the impact economy, the Hypha network. With all these projects, we are hoping to really change the game. So, and the third element is the energy DAO. this context, this container where everybody has a say, everybody can have access to, with shared ownership to solar panels, for example, and can cover their energy needs while reducing their electricity bill. And they can also, with the surplus, right, and as a collective, define what they will do with this excess, right? How they can create community prosperity using this unused value and leveraging, product services, for example, car sharing, right? And that's a service that suddenly becomes available for the entire community. So energy communities can achieve greater sustainability and regeneration through cross-border knowledge sharing. I was talking about this ecosystem framework where information can be shared, experiences can be shared, and we can organize different pilots, with different flavor, of course, depending on the needs that the local, community has in different contexts. So that's really groundbreaking, a new form of coordination, and also value flows. Of course, we will organize these value flows in a way that corresponds to what the community wants to do and can do. So some communities will be really socially oriented, for example, and in these models, we can include members that don't have access to ownership, of solar panels, for example, to benefit from a cheaper energy. If this community wants to generate value, for the community itself, we can optimize the model so that the value is the primary objective, and then services products can be created for the prosperity of the community. It's really important to explain the scopes and scales, of a DAO context. So I was talking about the core team. That's where you decide and enact, right? It's a really action-driven space that is composed by a small number of people, not more than 150, according to the Dunbar number. And we do that because it has to be a trusted space, right? Where people know each other, where people can make decisions together and really make sure that those decisions can benefit the community. Then we have the community members that will collaborate, amplify. It's really the space of collective intelligence, sense making, knowledge sharing. And that's really what we need to have inside the boundaries of the decentralized autonomous organization to really learn and expand, because the collective intelligence opens a lot of doors that wouldn't have been opened with the core team alone. So that's a space of continuous feedback, continuous real-life experimentation as well, to really understand the dynamics, the behavior of the people locally, so that services and products can be adjusted, as well as the logic of optimization that I was talking about before. And of course, we have the ecosystem level where what we call the anchor DAO, the collaboratory DAO, can really deliver the essential services that the communities need. So each community doesn't have to carry the burden of processes, frameworks, technology, and that's really the beauty of this model, where collaboration is there by design over competition, and we can really share resources through what we call essential services delivered by the ecosystem level. In terms of features, we have, of course, the collective decision-making. So it's not just a wording, it's a truly distributed space where everybody has a say depending on their commitments, depending on their contributions. So the more you contribute, the more you have a say, in these spaces. It can also be dependent on the ownership, of course, of the energy production. And in that case, we are able to define different spaces, right? So the ownership space and the membership space. Then we are leveraging, the blockchain with the tokens, not in the way that the token is on speculative markets, volatile market, but more as a utility token, which is used, to materialize the energy that is being produced with the kilowatt hour energy token, so that we can trace, this production, we can surface this production and all the value that comes with it. And because it's renewable energy, of course, the positive impact that is being created. So we really have this, holistic model to generate value and bonus value, if you like, for the members that are participating to this clean and regenerative economy. We have a multi-role and batch system. So that's really interesting to note that we have everything that is required, inside the DAO structure to organize roles, skills, talents, and domains of expertise inside the DAO, so that we create a balance and, as I was saying, the collective intelligence that we need based on what the members want to commit with, want to contribute with, right? So it can be financial resources, but it can be time, it can be physical resources, equipment, everything is useful in the local context to create this prosperity and abundance mindset and situation. Contribution accounting and reward system. That's really important in our context because, as I was saying, the more you contribute, the more value you are receiving, the more impact you are creating, and the more voice you have for the decision making. So really, core to our system, and because it conditions the reward system and the distribution, the sharing, if you like, of the energy created. Then the multi-sig treasury management, that's really important to manage, of course, this value and to organize the value flows in a transparent and equitable way, based on policies, protocols that are being voted on by the different members, so that it's always really clear. It's, the agreements are surfaced. Because there's a lot of agreements, if you think about it, that are made in echo chambers or not really surfaced in a way that everybody is aware of the latest decisions. In that context, all the policies, agreements are voted on by the members and created by the members themselves as well. So it's really this idea of sharing of information and also giving an equitable chance for everyone in the community locally to get involved into this project and get a share of the value and create a share of the impact. And of course, the multi-stage governance. So that's really the idea that you can publish a proposal, and the first stage is staging. So that means that all the other members can react, can comment on the different proposals that you are yourself creating as a member. So that allows sense making and a deeper trust, between members, because before submitting the proposal for voting, there's a discussion that is happening, and that really creates this sense of belonging. I was saying that, our user interface is made for mainstream adoption. So we don't have these complex, blockchain screens or anything like that. We have created an app that allows you to scan a QR code and create your account, in 1 or 2 steps. You can get access to the full potential of Web3 and blockchain without having any, the need for any technical knowledge. So that's really our endeavor to make this technology really accessible, and we are inspired by the Web 2 world, the websites that the different applications that you use, because we don't want to include any complexity into the mix. And it's an intuitive participation. The user interface tells you what are the proposals you voted on, what are the ones that you've refused. You see the unity, as in the percentage of alignment on this proposal, and you see the quorum, meaning the participation for this specific proposal. So, as I was saying, it's really human driven, this context, so everybody know each other's, and that's really the idea that we can participate and collaborate together to create this prosperity context in local economies. As I was saying, we are leveraging the blockchain and the technology that is available to us. And it's amazing when you think about it, because we can trace all the transactions. Everything that is being created by the group, by the collective, will be traced and transparent, so that we can really measure this contribution accounting. So out of fairness, this transparency will really help with trust and this collaboration between members. So we have 3 tokens. We wanted to separate the voice token, which is non-transferable and really associated to your account as a member, from the value tokens, utility and payout tokens. That's really unique in terms of design, and done on purpose to really give this equal chance to all the members when delivering their voice and their views on different topics that the community has to work on. And then we have the utility token. As I was saying, one example is the kilowatt energy token, which represents the production of energy in the community, and the payout token, which is our connection with the fiat world, euros, dollars, etc. So that allows members to have this balance as well between being co-invested, if you like, into the DAO itself, and also meeting their needs, if they have a role, an active role into the DAO. So this connection is really interesting, and for each proposal, there's a slider that allows members to really decide what is the share of utility token as opposed to payout tokens that they want to receive. This diagram is to explain in more detail at high level, the structure of an energy community context. So it starts with fractional ownership, with this idea that the community will have solar panels and smart meters, to measure the energy production. And the solar power gateway will actually transform this energy into tokens. As I was saying, not on the speculative markets, kept locally, and really using the technology to trace in a transparent way all the production that the community has actually created together. So this energy will go into the DAO treasury, and that's on purpose in the sense that above the individual consumption, of members in terms of energy, what we will have is a surplus, right? So we will store energy in batteries or different techniques to really make sure that most of the energy produced can be kept and can be used, when it needs to be used. And in the meantime, we are opening up this context where the energy members can decide on different really important decisions. So, of course, we want to create an experience that is so simple that everybody can contribute on these decisions. But some examples of proposals are the community contribution proposals, for example. A community member can say, I have something to contribute to in the DAO. I have equipment, I have a solar panel, I have land, I have a roof, So everything counts. We want to really share resources while acknowledging who is contributing to these resources. So anyone in the community will be able to propose a contribution, and in return, get a share of the energy produced into the community. We have the reward management policies, right, where the community will decide as a group how to allocate, this surplus of value. So it can well be that they will say, yes, share it based on the ratios between members, and that comes back to each member. They can also say, let's reinvest this surplus into the community itself by creating infrastructure, by delivering services, as I was saying, car sharing services, for example, that will contribute to the prosperity of the entire locality. And what is really interesting is that those services can be paid, using the same utility token, as in you would be able to rent a car, for example, that will with the kilowatt-hour energy token. The energy social strategy policies as well. As I was saying, some communities will be really socially oriented, and it will be possible to say, okay, some of the surplus will go to those who don't have access to energy, who are struggling to pay their bills, so we can really create some really interesting dynamics there. And the power agreements as well will be decisions. So power agreements are where there's a purchaser and a seller of energy that meet together around an agreement, for a certain period of time. So we can definitely create those proposals and have a share of the production that is delivered to local SMEs, for example, that are requiring energy. Of course, the park management policies, how to maintain the park, what is the budget, allocated to repairs and to optimize the production of the park and the yield of the park. And finally, the community pool. I was talking about collective intelligence and this ability for the community really to learn from each other, and have access to all of this information inside the ecosystem. So we can organize polls, and gather ideas, feedback, on a continuous basis, and that's the beauty of the DAO. We have here the Energy Ecosystem Anchor DAO that I was introducing before, delivering essential services for energy communities to be successful. And we have a new concept here, the Energy Service DAO. There will be a lot of needs from the community to get access to services, accounting services, legal services, anything that the community will need. We will have that inside the ecosystem for communities to benefit from. So once again, this idea of collaboration over competition and sharing of resources and knowledge. And the output of this collaboration is, of course, the power agreement that will be signed, through the DAOs, but also the kilowatt hour energy token and the impact token. So that's really interesting to note that, as I was saying, because it's renewable energy, we will be able to create certificates, renewable energy certificates that have a value on different markets, local marketplace, but also the energy markets as a whole. So that's additional value that come back to the community. And because each DAO will have their own set of tokens, the value doesn't go out of the community. That's also a problem where funding just disappears or goes to other places. In our context, the value stays where it has been invested. And to finish, I wanted to illustrate the next the developments that we are working on, which is the impact measures, right? So we want to go beyond the point of generating value, generating prosperity for communities, and add this impact layer. I was talking about the energy certificate, but we can go much beyond these points, right? By generating impact tokens for strong communities, right? The social benefit of this project can be measured because we are using blockchain tokens, and transparency. We can trace all of these different elements. We can expand to water, to soil, air, and energy is here, of course, forest, ecosystem and biodiversity. So this template is really limitless. It's only the creativity of the community that will be engaged. But the idea is really for each community to decide where their focus will be, depending on the problems they are facing locally. So once again, that really creates a sense of belonging inside the community, and also a sense of accountability, acknowledgement of the problems to create the conditions for a thriving local community. Yes, that's really what I wanted to present to you today. And I'm really open to questions, reactions, and really curious to see what are your thoughts on this new model. Thanks very much.